The air was heavy, still. The sun, usually bright and cheerful, hid behind a thick blanket of grey clouds. Palm trees swayed nervously, whispering warnings of the approaching storm. Hurricane Zephyr, a monster Category 5, churned towards the coast of Florida. News channels buzzed with urgency, the warnings scrolling across television screens. Families rushed to board up windows and secure their homes. Evacuation routes jammed with cars, a river of headlights snaking away from danger. Fear, palpable and thick, hung in the air. Miami, the usually vibrant city, held its breath. Beaches, once bustling with life, stood empty, the waves crashing ominously against the sand. Shops and businesses were bolted shut, their neon signs dark. The streets, normally a cacophony of traffic and chatter, were eerily deserted. At the heart of the city, in a modest apartment overlooking the ocean, two figures watched the approaching storm. They were not afraid. They were Kryptonite Man and Kryptonite Woman, Florida's silent guardians, and they were ready. As the first tendrils of the hurricane lashed the coast, a green light shot into the sky. The storm was fierce, with winds howling and waves crashing violently against the shore. Nature's fury was on full display, but amidst the chaos, a beacon of hope emerged. Kryptonite Man, his cape billowing behind him, soared above the city. His presence was a symbol of strength and resilience. The storm raged on, but he remained undeterred, cutting through the turbulent skies with unwavering determination. His eyes, sharper than any storm tracker, scanned the streets below. He could see the devastation, the fear in the eyes of the people, and the urgency of the situation. Every second counted, and he was ready to act. Beside him, a streak of shimmering silver flew Kryptonite Woman. Her grace and agility were unmatched, and together they formed an unstoppable duo. The storm was their battleground, and they were prepared to face it head-on. Their mission was clear: protect the vulnerable, strengthen the weak, and stand firm against the fury of Zephyr. They moved with purpose, rescuing those trapped by the storm and providing solace to the frightened. Their courage inspired hope in the hearts of many. They knew this was a fight they couldn't afford to lose. The stakes were high and the odds were against them, but their resolve was unbreakable. The storm tested their limits, but they pushed back with all their might. Their city, their home, depended on them. The familiar streets and buildings, now battered by the storm, held memories and dreams. They fought not just for survival, but for the future of their community.
We can't let Zephyr win, Jason. The storm may be powerful, but our will is stronger. The people are counting on us, and we must rise to the occasion. The people need us now more than ever. Their faith in us gives us strength. We must be their shield, their hope, and their light in this darkness.
I know, Emily. Let's show Zephyr what we're made of. Together, we are unstoppable. This storm will not break us. It will only make us stronger. Let's give it everything we've got.
One of the first distress calls came from a nursing home on the outskirts of Miami. The building, old and fragile, was no match for Zephyr's winds. Roof tiles ripped off, windows shattered, sending shards of glass flying. The storm's fury was relentless, and the structure groaned under the pressure, its age and wear making it particularly vulnerable to the elements. The once peaceful haven for the elderly had turned into a scene of chaos and destruction, with debris scattered everywhere and the howling wind adding to the sense of impending doom. Inside, elderly residents huddled together, fear etched on their faces. The storm's roar was deafening, and the constant battering of the wind and rain against the building only heightened their terror. Kryptonite Woman, her strength amplified by the Earth's yellow sun, reached the nursing home first. She had been monitoring the situation closely and knew that time was of the essence. Her arrival brought a glimmer of hope to the frightened residents who had been praying for a miracle. With gentle hands, she reinforced the weakened structure, her touch as delicate as a feather yet strong as steel. One by one, she lifted the terrified residents, carrying them to safety. Her movements were swift yet careful, ensuring that no one was hurt in the process. The elderly, many of whom had limited mobility, were amazed at her strength and gentleness. She moved through the building with purpose, her presence a calming force amidst the chaos. Each resident she rescued felt a wave of relief wash over them, knowing they were in safe hands.
Thank you, dear. I thought we wouldn't make it. The elderly woman's voice trembled with emotion, her gratitude evident in her eyes. She clung to Kryptonite Woman, her frail body shaking from the ordeal she had just endured. The relief of being rescued was overwhelming, and she couldn't help but express her heartfelt thanks.
Don't worry, you're safe now. We'll get everyone out of here. Kryptonite Woman's voice was soothing, her words a balm to the frightened residents. She reassured them that they were no longer in danger, and that she would ensure everyone was evacuated safely. Her confidence and calm demeanor helped to ease their fears, and they began to believe that they would make it through the storm.
Amidst the chaos, Kryptonite Woman stood as a beacon of hope, her presence a promise of safety and rescue. The storm raged on, but her unwavering determination and strength provided a sense of security to those she had saved. She was a symbol of resilience and courage, a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is always hope. Her actions that day would be remembered by the residents of the nursing home for years to come, a testament to the power of compassion and heroism in the face of adversity. Section 5. Against the Relentless Wind. Meanwhile, Kryptonite Man faced his own battle. The storm was unlike anything he had ever encountered, a true test of his strength and resolve.
Zephyr, a raging beast, unleashed its full force. The winds howled like a chorus of banshees, tearing through the landscape with a ferocity that seemed almost sentient. It was as if the storm had a mind of its own, intent on destruction.
Buildings swayed precariously, their foundations groaning under the strain. Trees ripped from the earth became deadly projectiles. The air was thick with debris, a maelstrom of metal, wood, and glass. The cityscape was unrecognizable, a chaotic blend of nature's wrath and human vulnerability.
Undeterred, Kryptonite Man fought back. He moved with incredible speed, catching falling debris, reinforcing crumbling walls, and creating a shield with his own body to protect those trapped beneath. His actions were a blur of heroism, each movement calculated to save lives and minimize damage.
His unwavering determination, fueled by the love for his city, kept him going. He knew that every second counted, and he couldn't afford to falter. The storm was relentless, but so was he. As he stood firm against the wind, he looked out over the stormy cityscape, vowing to protect it at all costs. The battle was far from over, but with every act of bravery, he inched closer to victory. Section 6. Powering hope at the hospital. The storm raged on, relentless in its fury. One of the city's main hospitals reported a power outage. Life-saving equipment flickered and died, plunging operating rooms into darkness. The backup generators, battered by the storm, sputtered and failed.
Kryptonite Man, his eyes glowing with power, became a living conduit.
He channeled his energy, a surge of pure force into the heart of the hospital's electrical system. Lights flickered back to life, machines whirred into action.
Doctors and nurses cheered, their hope rekindled.
Section 7. Shelter from the storm. As the night wore on, Kryptonite Man and Kryptonite Woman continued their tireless efforts.
We moved through the ravaged city, rescuing families trapped in flooded homes, leading lost souls to shelters, and offering a beacon of hope in the darkest hour.
Our heroism wasn't just about our superpowers. It was about our compassion, our unwavering belief in the human spirit, our refusal to give up on anyone, no matter how dire the situation.
Finally, as dawn broke, Zephyr began to weaken. The relentless wind subsided, the torrential rain eased to a drizzle. The storm, exhausted from its rampage, drifted away, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The sky, bruised and battered, began to clear, revealing the first rays of sunlight. Exhausted but exhilarated, Kryptonite Man and Kryptonite Woman landed on the roof of their apartment building. They watched as the city below slowly began to stir. The first responders, their sirens a symphony of resilience, moved through the debris-strewn streets. The days that followed were a blur of activity. The people of Miami, their spirits unbroken, began the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. Everywhere stories of courage and compassion emerged. Neighbors helping neighbors, strangers sharing food and shelter, the human spirit shining through the wreckage. And through it all, the legend of Kryptonite Man and Kryptonite Woman grew. The city, forever grateful for their selfless acts, whispered their names with reverence. They were symbols of hope, reminders that even in the face of disaster, there was always light. Section 10. The Spirit of Florida Unbroken. Hurricane Zephyr had tested the limits of human endurance, but it had also revealed the depth of human resilience. Miami, battered but not broken, rose from the ashes, stronger and more united than ever before. The storm had passed, but the memory of their heroes and the lessons they embodied Courage, compassion, and unwavering hope would forever be etched in the heart of Florida.